boxing's most unorthodox champions.
When you're down there.
Oh! There's that!
A man built on volume, pressure, and pure unpredictability.
Uppercut in the midst of it, and he goes down again! Beautiful!
Emanuel Vaquero Navarrete has become a puzzle no one has solved cleanly.
Straight back goes Diaz, and coming forward like a freight train.
With a freakish reach, endless gas tank, and a style that breaks every traditional rule.
Santisima. Can Navarrete finish things off here in round number 11? Russell Moore's giving it.
Many believe he could give Naoya Inoue a challenge, unlike anything the monster has faced before. But Inoue is a different beast altogether.
Clearly damaged is Santisima. Can Navarrete finish things off here in round number 11? Russell Moore's giving it a little bit. Like that. There it is. There's the risk with no...
This is the fight that could totally shake the lower divisions. But who will come out on top when lights shine bright? Let's take a closer look at the two fighters and see who's cooler. We'll start with Emanuel Navarrete's first WBO featherweight title defense against Christopher Diaz, which showed a deadly dangerous side of him. Navarrete stepped into the first round like a man with a plan, cutting off the ring, stalking Diaz, and refusing to let this turn into a slick boxing match.
Every mistake and every time Navarrete lunges forward, make him pay. See Diaz looking out for that uppercut, blocking.
Tried to time a right hand over the top. Right hand got in the combination there from Navarrete. There's that lead left uppercut again, and able to have head.
Diaz barely got out of first gear, pumping the jab and sneaking in the occasional straight right down the pipe.
Unnecessary energy.
Right hand over the top.
He's on a different station.
In round two, Navarrete used more of that left hook.
You're supposed to do when you're. That's what you need to do. Navarrete, he shoots his punches from his hips. That's what I've been talking about.
He jabbed his way inside and whipped hooks to both head and body from angles only he could find.
Big right hand.
Diaz stayed on his bike, which kept him safe, until Navarrete wound up with another hook, missed by a mile, and left a window wide open.
That knee wrap on the left.
It's fine, but it's obvious that...
Three-punch combination.
By the third, Navarrete had fully settled into his rhythm.
Pedro Navarrete...
And timing.
Diaz kept moving, but the small ring left him nowhere to hide.
Oh, good shot. That awkward, long lunge. And now this is the volume, and this is the...
Navarrete outworked him by a massive margin, landing more than triple the punches and giving everyone a taste of what was coming.
And then he finds his lunges in and for Navarrete.
In deep moments like this, a championship fight.
Round 4 was the breaking point, as Navarrete uncorked a monstrous left uppercut and sent him crashing to the canvas.
That's the answer right there. If you're Diaz, you're already the short shot when you're down there.
Oh! There's that left!
Diaz got up, but he spent the rest of the round trying to steady himself.
And sweeping left of his own. But yet...
Diaz finally showed life late in round 5.
How much first half of this
After
fight?
maybe a knocks about, you got to figure out a way.
Just when Navarrete seemed ready to run away with it, the challenger dug deep and fired off a sharp three-piece combination.
From my town, and if I don't, I don't.
He said he started asking us about matchup. Diaz.
Navarrete ate it well, but suddenly had to deal with the determined body attack that Diaz carried into round 6.
Non-stop attack here in round 5.
It's about to turn into a fight.
Get the answer as he comes ahead.
Round 6 was Diaz's best, as he dug to the ribs, strayed low, clipped Navarrete behind the back, all while bagging warnings.
Down in round 4 against the local connect advantage.
Look at that. Punch that Diaz has gotten a reaction from Navarrete.
Round 7 turned into a heated back and forth, but Diaz's dirty tactics badly dented his momentum.
But like I said, he's exposed for the uppercut. As you can see
now
right
on the inside, Diaz the shorter man opening up.
After another illegal shot behind the back, he lost a point, killing the progress he'd been building.
Now the point deduction here.
You're in the corner of Diaz. You got to tell your fighter, plan A is out the window. Keep a tight...
In round 8, Navarrete nearly ended it right there as he dropped Diaz twice more. First with a clean shot that forced another 8 count.
Uppercut in the midst of it, and he goes down again.
Emanuel then floored him with a vicious flurry that opened a gash under Diaz's left eye.
Navarrete, straight back goes Diaz, and coming forward like a freight.
Despite 2 brutal knockdowns, Diaz refused to fold. In round 9, he bit down and matched Navarrete punch for punch, even forcing Navarrete off balance during an exchange that almost looked like a knockdown.
It's that offense, Dre. That's what it is. That offense.
Throws himself off balance. Diaz with an opportunity in place to right hand. Hands were down.
The championship rounds began with Navarrete firing a blistering combination, snapping Diaz's head back and drawing blood from his nose.
So unconventional, so powerful, serious damage. Diaz, 6 minutes to try to find...
Diaz kept fighting, but the gap in class was becoming impossible to ignore.
See the blood coming from the nose and mouth. And want to let everybody know that at the conclusion of our championship fight, we're going to...
Giving up.
In round 12, Diaz's corner told him clearly that he needed a knockout. He came out for the 12th throwing fire, cracking Navarrete with a big right hand on the ropes and landing another head-snapping shot moments later.
Faith in you. There's no pain. There's no... As he's looking at that face, is willing to dish more out. As Diaz is moving forward, lands a right...
For a second, it felt like the miracle might be brewing.
And he's got Navarrete against the ropes. And Navarrete says, final round, title on the line.
But Navarrete surged forward, hammered him with a final barrage, and dropped him inside the last 30 seconds to win convincingly.
Still be giving. Oh, Navarrete's damaging him badly.
Get in there.
Damaging him so over.
Unbelievable work by...
If you think that was impressive, wait till you see what Naoya Inoue would do to Luis Nery. In May 2024, Naoya Inoue walked into the ring like royalty, with all 4 super bantamweight belts gleaming on his waist, each one a symbol of the dominance he'd carved into boxing history. Japan's beloved Monster was expected to deliver another icy masterpiece, but nobody in that arena could have predicted what happened next. Across from him stood Luis Pantera Nery, a vicious Mexican southpaw with power in both hands and a reputation that matched the danger in his eyes. From the opening bell, the fight was a head-on collision between 2 of the best in their respective divisions.
Call. Nery, he goes down. However, when he...
There was no slow warm-up, and definitely no cautious probing.
Behind his double jab, just take it.
But out of nowhere, Nery detonated a nuclear left hand that sent Inoue crashing to the canvas.
Scene spooked by the punching power. Oh! There it is!
The Tokyo Dome fell silent. For the first time, the monster wasn't the hunter, but the hunted. His legs wobbled, his eyes blinked, and he looked in serious trouble.
See the small uppercut right there, but you see when Inoue tends to throw...
In round 2, everything changed as Inoue steadied himself and began carving through Nery's guard with cold precision.
Of course, the titleist had won the monster race in February of 1990. In all that time...
Moments later, Inoue gave Nery payback with a savage left hook that sent him skidding across the ring like a man who slipped on a banana peel.
He's changing up his attack, Tess. Right now, he's out of position.
Oh,
there it is.
Inoue returns the face.
Lunging forward.
Nery came forward over...
By round 3, Inoue had entered his natural rhythm, and Nery looked like he was trapped in a nightmare he couldn't wake up from.
Back round for Inoue after he suffered first knockdown. And now he goes...
That single shot
By round 5, the monster was fully unleashed.
of Inoue, top notch. Top placement of a boxer compared, when you're facing the southpaw and it's open.
And he soon dropped Nery again with a hell-born left hook that flattened him instantly. Round 6 brought along the execution as Inoue unleashed a violent uppercut that shut Nery's lights out before his body even hit the floor.
An undisputed champion against
That much torque, that much power.
This time, Nery wouldn't get up.
Crumbled! And the monster!
Inoue's performance was top class, but could Navarrete beat it? In February 2020, Emanuel Navarrete produced a world-class performance of his own when he put his WBO junior featherweight belt on the line against João Santisima. Not much happened in the first 2 rounds, but about a minute into the third, Navarrete finally broke through.
2, maybe 3 times.
Up down the stretch of that fight to the point where he also roughed him up down the stretch of that fight to the point where he scored a TKO, did Navarrete, in the 12th round, when he had the rematch against the man that he took the belt from. Of course, we had the world.
He dug a hard left hand straight into Santisima's body that made him immediately retreat and circle the ring.
With Sugar Hill Stewart, who now trains fighter back in the day, both as a pro, and he has been
in the boxing.
It wasn't a knockdown blow, but it was the kind of punch that tells you the momentum has shifted.
The guy throws an uppercut, but with a right hand.
combination.
Santisima responded in the 4th round with one of his biggest moments of the fight, when he fired a left hook that caught Navarrete high on the neck and knocked him back into the ropes.
You happy about that?
I only broke my record.
You happy about that?
I'm happy.
Right hand for Team Fury. No objection, and look at...
The Navarrete didn't look truly hurt and more off balance than anything.
Balance when he's throwing that hook. Gets caught with a great left hook by Santisima.
By the 5th round, Navarrete had completely taken command.
Navarrete that has been controlling the action as he lunges ahead with a series of right hands.
In the final minute, he let his hands go with that awkward, unpredictable rhythm he's known for.
Right uppercut, body shot
The
comes
headshot's pretty well, but the shot he hasn't taken well is the left hook to the liver from Navarrete.
This is...
Even in the middle rounds, Navarrete continued to control the pace of the fight.
Comes to the inside, assuming he defends the title here tonight, 122 pounds. He struggled this week. When Wilder is a fascinating...
Early in the 9th, Navarrete caught Santisima with a left hook that moved him backward.
Just swirling about the cut and
then if you're in there, so I understand that completely.
taking a round off maybe 2 or 3 rounds ago. But
He added another left hook late in the round, but to Santisima's credit, he continued to absorb the punishment like a fighter refusing to fold.
rounds, I think he needs to get back because Santisima has
To southpaw in motion.
Even though Santisima was being outworked, he stayed competitive and kept firing back just enough to stay in the fight.
Blocking them, but he's not answering. He's not coming
Jab
back.
hand. As he turns southpaw, goes back to orthodox, of course, and gets a combination.
About a minute into the 10th round, Navarrete landed a crisp combination that visibly affected Santisima.
See, the tape is actually loose on Santisima. Some good work here in round number 10.
he needs to finish downstairs with that left hook to the body, just like that.
Look at this attack by Navarrete.
In the 11th, Navarrete landed an overhand right that smashed Santisima into the ropes with about a minute remaining.
Santisima.
Yeah, he's still squinting.
You can tell,
Yeah.
and there's a headshot. Santisima, he is compromised here in round number 11. Navarrete on the charge, trying to place a short up.
Sensing the end, Navarrete unleashed a nasty barrage that left Santisima absorbing punishment with no meaningful return fire.
Navarrete finished things off here in round number 11. Russell Morris giving it a look. There it is.
The referee had no option but to stop the fight. Still think Naoya has it better? Well, let's find out. On September 9th, 2017, Naoya Inoue went toe-to-toe with one of his toughest career tests in Antonio Nieves. At just 24, Inoue was already a 2-division world champion, but now he had to prove that his dominance could travel and that his legend could survive under the bright lights far from home. From the opening bell, Inoue set the tone as he moved forward with sharp surgical jabs and a rhythm that screamed confidence. Nieves tried to box from the outside, but none of his early attempts were successful. Inoue stalked him relentlessly, cutting the ring off and targeting the body early, each shot thudding like a hammer on steel.
His father taught
He's fundamentally sound, and that we can translate that physically.
Tries to deliver the body. Inoue did a great.
Round 2 saw the monster increase the pace, with combinations that rained down with frightening precision, and the body shots started to tell.
Not surprisingly, Inoue winning the first 2 rounds.
Trying to pick up where he left off, in that last round.
Each punch echoed through the arena, leaving even the toughest spectators wincing at the sheer power behind them.
The top to get it down to the base. Now there's a classic technical defense.
That will be a problem down the stretch if he continues to fight in his early to mid-30s. They're talking a lot about the power of Inoue, but that's
By the end of the round, Nieves' defense was visibly cracking.
always in position to punch, regardless of what his opponent tries to do.
Waiting, and he launches again.
By round 3, Inoue had total control, as every jab, every hook, and every body shot was measured to perfection.
Not surprisingly, Inoue winning the first 2 rounds.
He's trying to pick up where he left off, in that last round.
Nieves tried to respond, but the monster's timing and footwork were impeccable.
He's called the monster. When a guy has fat,
Something you occasionally see him do. Saw the target as it was traveling through the air.
No matter how he covered up, the body shots sliced through, and every failed counter brought him closer to collapse.
Top and get it down to the base. There's kind of classic technical defense.
That will be a problem down the stretch if he continues to fight in his early to mid-30s. Talking a lot about the power of Inoue, but as he mentioned,
By round 5, Inoue's strategy bore fruit as he slipped inside and delivered a thunderous short left hook to the liver.
I mean, ideally, I think it work extremely well, or they implode right before us. It's one of the in-between.
I think that's great.
Nieves immediately dropped to one knee.
devastating. Make some water cooler buzz the next, on Monday at work. And if you went right there, and here Inoue has him ready to go to the body.
Nieves struggled to rise, but the damage was clear, and every movement was now a battle with his own body.
Don't abandon the body right now. He'll protect the head, but the body can't move.
Inoue stalking.
There it is.
Another body.
Punch other than a hook to the body. And there's
Inoue stayed patient, peppering the head and body with surgical precision and turning the fight into a countdown.
Authority to change anything. You're listening to what Max Kellerman and Andre Ward's the left hook to the body. It will win you more fights than any other weapon.
He's about to win by stoppage.
Round 6 began, and Nieves could barely keep upright. Inoue continued methodically jabbing, circling, and punishing the midsection, showing the full scope of his craft.
Against Leonard Doreen. How many
Inoue knows he has wounded prey in front of him and continue to throw that left hook to the body.
The bell for the 6th round never mattered, as Nieves' corner finally threw in the towel, handing Inoue another dominant win.
Side right there. That's why you got to switch it up. If you want that shot, you got to go with the chance to put on a show now. The referee has to keep a close look on Nieves.
Who knows what's going on internally in his ribcage. Another left.
So who is cooler between Naoya Inoue and Emanuel Navarrete? Naoya Inoue is simply the cooler fighter when you put him next to Emanuel Navarrete. And it comes down to how effortlessly he combines skill, presence, and dominance. Inoue carries himself with a calm intensity that never feels forced. He doesn't need to show off. He doesn't need wild movements, and he doesn't rely on chaos to win. His coolness comes from total control. Watching him fight is like watching a master craftsman at work, someone who knows exactly what he's doing and never loses composure even for a second. Navarrete is an incredible fighter. He's fun to watch and wildly unpredictable, but he thrives in messy exchanges and awkward angles. His style is exciting but chaotic, and that chaos is part of his charm. Inoue, on the other hand, brings elegance to violence. He maintains perfect form while delivering fight-ending shots, and he makes elite opponents look like they're moving in slow motion. That level of precision under pressure gives him a kind of natural cool that feels untouchable. Navarrete is entertaining, but Inoue is iconic, and when it comes to pure cool factor, Inoue stands a level above. Who do you guys think is cooler? Let me know in the comments. If you enjoyed the breakdown and want more monster-level storytelling on the biggest names in boxing, make sure to hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel so you never miss another deep dive, and drop a comment telling me who you want covered next.